Derek Flanzraich for On Harvard Time, and we're sitting today with Professor Pinker. Professor Pinker, so you're a psychologist.
I am a psychologist.
How does that make you feel?
I'm studying how the human mind works. What could be better than that? So it feels great.
So you were on the Colbert Report.
Yes.
And which interview have you so far enjoyed more?
Yours or Colbert's?
Yes.
Yours, absolutely.
How do you go into something like that with Colbert? What is your thinking going into an interview like that?
Well, first I went to the web and I immediately started watching every one of his interviews with an academic to take notes as to what not to do, how not to look like an idiot.
You write on a lot of topics. One of them is swearing. So what is your favorite swear word?
Oh, it would be maybe a three-way tie between crock of shit, pussy whipped, and horse's ass.
Crock of shit.
Pussy whipped.
Pussy whipped.
Horse's ass.
Horse's ass.
They're indispensable. I mean, how can you... Oh, pissing contest would have to be up there.
Pissing contest is a great one. What does pussy whipped really mean?
Oh, it is a highly offensive, sexist, misogynist term for a male who allegedly is dominated by a wife or girlfriend. So I call it in the book I call it the gynecoflagellative term for uxorial dominance.
So if you said that on the Colbert Report,
I would not describe.
He would jump on you.
I couldn't say it either way. I couldn't say the word. I couldn't explain the word. So I think we're okay here.
You're fine.
Right?
This is the internet. Anything goes. You also talk about baby naming.
Yes.
So let's say you and me are married and we have a baby.
Mm-hmm.
What should we name it?
Oh, well, I kind of like the name Yogi.
What if I don't particularly like Yogi Berra? It's going to be very tough on our relationship.
It could be, yeah.
So I took your class, Morality and Taboo, last semester, and I got an 83 on the midterm. Can we talk about that?
Well, I have a chapter in my new book on bribery.
Bribery?
So, yes, veiled bribes. So you can't just say, if I give you a C note, would you submit a grade change? It has to be more veiled, done by innuendo and
so you're on camera.
Yes.
Could you do something about my grade in Morality and Taboo?
Not good enough. You have to say something like, well, you know, when you edit an interview, did you know that there are many ways in which you can make a person look foolish, no matter what they say, by the way you cut the interview in production? Crock of shit, pussy whipped, and horse's ass. I've heard that some people who think that they perform very well in an interview can be made to look like jackasses by the way the film is edited. Crock of shit, pussy whipped, and horse's ass. You could ask me if I was aware of that. And that would be...
And if you pass the paper along the table,
the range of the camera. Yes, right. So anyway, veiled bribes, veiled threats, veiled sexual come-ons, mealy-mouthed polite requests. All of those I talk about in my most recent book. Why we don't just say what we mean. Crock of shit, pussy whipped, and horse's ass.
So that's the stuff of thought, right?
Right.
This is the book. Have you read Harry Potter?
I have not. I'm probably the only person on the planet who hasn't, but no, I haven't.
Harry Potter comes out and it captures the imagination of so many people, and so many people end up reading it. Is there some kind of reason for something like that?
Well, it's probably, speaking generically, two kinds of reason. One is that there are certain stories that have eternal appeal, probably because they speak to certain human themes. It's often been noted that all of the world's stories fall into a fairly small number of plots and themes. In addition, there's a social contagion phenomenon where the phenomenon of bestsellers or top 40 records or fashions, including fashions in naming babies like Steve in the 50s, where something becomes popular because it's popular. In the words of Sam Goldwyn, who said, don't name your son William, every Tom, Dick, and Harry is named William. If everyone is named Steve, you think, oh my God, what a cliche, not another Steve, I'm going to look for something different. Jesse, Adam, Shaniqua, or Shaquille.
Yeah.
And so you get a certain number of
Which would be great
innovators.
names for our baby.
Shaquille, yes, absolutely.
Would be a great
That,
name.
yes, or Latrell.
Shaquille Pinker Flanzraich.
Perfect. Yeah.
Or Flanzraich Pinker. We could
We'll have
work
to
something
argue.
out.
We'd have to argue about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Stuff of Thought is your what number book that you've published?
It's my 7th book.
7th book.
Yeah.
And you hope to put out how many books?
I mean, before I die?
To leave as your legacy
Gee.
before you pass.
Before I cark it, as they say in New Zealand. Gee, I don't know. I don't. Well, I'd have to. It depends how long I live, I suppose.
So you're doing all this writing, you're doing all this research. Why are you here teaching at Harvard?
Oh, I don't want all this knowledge to disappear when I get bored with it. I like the idea that people who are going to be alive when I'm dead know this stuff, get excited by it, are curious about it, add to the knowledge. I like to think that the knowledge will be useful and informative to people who do other things. But how the mind works is so relevant to so many things that everyone is curious and everyone could put it to use.
So why are you teaching here instead of MIT?
Well, I was there for 21 years. And, enough was enough. I mean, MIT was a great place, and so nothing was driving me out.
Do you find that Harvard students are different from MIT students?
How many MIT students are watching this? No, that was
Let's
a
say
joke.
0 for now.
Okay, that's a good answer. There's huge overlap, both in the kind of person and certainly in the talent.
So if you had to choose whether to be at a party with all MIT students or all Harvard students?
Party?
Yeah,
Harvard.
definitely Harvard.
Yeah.
So Harvard students like to party,
Yeah.
whereas MIT students don't?
No, I wouldn't say they like to party. No, they're more fun at parties. That's
More
different.
fun at parties.
They party more often, but the ones they do have.
Interesting. So you came here for the parties.
that would be one way of putting it.
This was Derek Flanzraich for On Harvard Time, and thanks so much to Professor Baker.